All right, David, so I got to ask you, growing up, Kansas City, Missouri, who were some players that you looked up to?
Oh, I had some great teams in the 70s. You know, I was, my high school years were the late 70s, so, you know, those Royals teams were the best. I mean, George Brett, Amos Otis in center field, Freddie Patek, shortstop, Frank White, the second baseman, John Mayberry, the first baseman. The list goes on and on. Al Cowens in right field, Dennis Leonard and Paul Splittorff. Just, that was my sweet spot growing up, was that team.
So you make your debut with your hometown team. But let's just talk about this. I got to ask you, 1994 was a special year. Cy Young. What changed during that course? Because you had great years prior to that. But 1994, you really locked in. What changed for you during that time?
You know, I had a great pitching coach. It's one of those stories where you sync up with the right pitching coach, Bruce Keeson, who's since passed away, but it was a great pitcher himself for the family and the Pittsburgh Pirates back in '79, and he was also an even better pitching coach. And we just got together, changed my mechanics, simplified things. I changed my delivery, changed my mindset, and started to pitch more to contact, put the ball in play more, got some easier innings, pitched more complete games, got deeper into games. So the whole thing kind of got revamped for me because of him and his influence on me that year. And you know, I'll never forget him. I'm always thankful for somebody like that.
Yes.
A lot of players have those kind of stories where you sync up with a hitting coach or a pitching coach, and they have that impact on you, and he was that guy for me.
I love it. So the number 5 for you is unique because 5-time All-Star, 5-time World Series champion. Out of the 5 World Series, which one stands out the most to you in your opinion?
Wow, you know, I can't just give you one. I mean, the '96 Yankees was pretty special. That was the first one out of 4. We won 4 out of 5 years. Mm-hmm. But I was part of '92 with the Blue Jays, and it was Canada's first. So that one was pretty good too. Yeah. You know, even though I got traded at the end of the year to the Blue Jays. I was only there for like 5 weeks, so I wasn't there the whole year, so it wasn't as deep. But the whole country was behind that team. That was a big deal for Canada. So if you're gonna nail me on one year, it has to be '96 Yankees.
Okay, I like that. So obviously, like being the fact that you did get traded to that team, then you end up with the Yankees. I guess we call you like the hired gun, the sniper, the guy that every team needed to win that championship. But during that time, who was the guy that you faced, that you had on the calendar? You saw him at the mound, or you saw him at the plate, you said, I got to get this guy out. Who was that guy for you?
Well, there's a couple that come to mind, and I didn't get them out, so a lot of the times too. But Ken Griffey Jr. was unbelievable. He just was that guy. He was a generational talent. He was that good. No matter what you've heard about him, if you never saw him play, he was it. He was it of my generation. Tony Gwynn as well. Tony Gwynn was so hard to get out. Now, I didn't worry about him hitting home runs like I did Ken Griffey Jr., but as far as just the toughest outs, just get him out, you just couldn't do it, was Tony Gwynn.
So, baseball Mount Rushmore, and I ask this question to every single player I get, and it's on the spot. You being a pitcher, we're going to make this simple for you. If you could put your Mount Rushmore of 4 pitchers, and I'm going to make this a twist, of your time. And you can ask yourself, I think you're well deserving of that. But if you could put 4 players of your time in your Mount Rushmore, who would it be for the Mount Rushmore of your time in baseball?
Wow, you know, well, you got to have a reliever, so it's Mariano Rivera. Okay. We'll start there. We'll go back to front. If I had needed one pitcher, I had to choose to win one big game. It's Randy Johnson. Wow. Greg Maddux. Okay. It's the second one. The best craftsman I've ever seen, just to make the ball move, master his craft, kind of a pitcher. That's Maddux. That's 3, right? I need one more. One more. You know, the best pitcher, you know, to me was Pedro Martinez in his prime. Yeah. There was nobody like him.
1999 was crazy.
There was nobody there. Yeah. If you asked a lot of the hitters who were the toughest pitcher to face, a lot of Pedro's their answer a lot. Cal Ripken Jr. told me Pedro Martinez. Cal saw them all. So, you know, Pedro's got to be on that list.
I like that. So, the evolution of baseball. I mean, obviously, you're a baseball lifer, so you've had the opportunity to not only play against some of the greats, but see the greats. Did you ever think in your generation at that time, if you fast forward years later, a guy like Shohei Ohtani would come around? And I'm pretty sure for you, growing up, you played a position in the field. You had a chance to bat, but seeing a guy that can win 15 or more games, get the strikeouts, and hit 40 home runs, what comes to your mind about that?
I'm still processing what I'm watching with him, right? I think we all are. It's like, what are we really watching here? It's incredible. It really is. And I have a hard time describing what I'm seeing because I know the day after I pitched 7 or 8 or 9 innings that I couldn't do nothing the next day. You know, I was tired, I was worn out, I was sore, and he's out there hitting bombs the next day after he pitches. So it's truly remarkable what he's doing. We've never seen anything like it. People say he's the best since Babe Ruth. He's a better pitcher than Babe Ruth was, I think, because Babe didn't really want to pitch. He wanted to hit.
Yeah.
You know, early on, Babe was a really good pitcher. But I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see Babe Ruth play, so I really can't say. But from what I've read, he kind of wanted just to hit. And Shohei Ohtani is a beast because he wants to do both. He lives to do both. And he wants to be the greatest player ever. And he's on his way.
Yeah, so I got to ask you, I know you've been busy doing the baseball season, obviously, doing TV and things, but I got to ask you, did you get a chance to watch the Jeter documentary?
I did, yes.
What did you think?
I loved it. I love Randy Wilkins. I think he did a great job with it. I got a chance to talk to him quite a bit. I think he's a fantastic talent, and I thought it was really well done.
I like that. A few more questions. So I have this question where I asked about music. So I know you've been seeing him around baseball. Edwin Diaz is doing this thing with the closer. They come out with the trumpets and all that stuff. So let's just say David Cone, 1993. He has a walk-up song. Any artist can do the song of your choice, dead or alive. You can pick any artist to perform your song, and it's named after you. Who do you want to do that song for you?
Wow. Well, if it's you're going early '90s, man, so many great choices. You know, when my walkout song with the Yankees in the late '90s was the theme song to The Sopranos.
Okay, I like that. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, because they were hot back then. The Sopranos were hot. So it's actually a great song if you go back and listen to it. If it's early '90s, man, that's a tough one. You know, man, I don't know. I was a huge Madonna fan back in the day.
Okay.
You know, that was my sweet spot growing up. You know, I had a crush.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. I like that.
So, yeah, I might have to think about a Madonna song in there somewhere. But
so Madonna has a David Cone song. I like that. That'd be legendary.
I wish.
We'll make that happen sometime. Right? All right, so a few more questions. Like I said, let's see how I can do this one. Baseball movies. So this is the Fanatics View question of the day. What is your favorite baseball movie of all time?
You know, there's two. You know, Bull Durham was good because it reminded me of the minor league life, and I lived that life. So, you know, I kind of, you know, it resonated with me. But also A League of Their Own was so good. You gave some props to the women. So, you know, it was long overdue, and that was an amazing crew.
Okay, let's just say if there's a new Bull Durham 2025, and they all of a sudden want to go back in history, and we need someone to play David Cone as an actor. Who would you want to play David Cone in a movie for you?
He kind of already did. You know, if you look at, you know, Kevin Costner did a movie for the love of the game. That's kind of my story. The Perfect Game at the end of his career. It's kind of, you know, I kind of already had that movie. He actually wrote me a beautiful letter right through my Perfect Game, and the movie came out about that same time. It's 1999, and he said really nice to the effect of, you captured what I was trying to do in the movie. So it's kind of already happened for me, really. I mean, so it'd be him, I guess.
So you said Perfect Game, and that obviously is my next question. So I've asked someone before who has actually thrown a perfect game, how was it in that moment to throw that? Like, did you realize what was actually going on for you? Let's just go around and say seventh inning.
I knew before that. I knew exactly what was going on. It was Yogi Berra Day that day at Yankee Stadium. It was one of those days that you get at Yankee Stadium where there's all the pageantry and Yogi's riding around in a Thunderbird convertible before the game. Sold out crowd. It was great. The year before, David Wells had thrown his perfect game, so I'd watched him do it. So I knew exactly what was happening, and I wanted it badly. I was 36 years old.
Yeah.
It was at the tail end of my career. It was probably the last chance I knew I'd ever have the chance to do something like that.
Yeah.
So I knew exactly what was going on.
And ironically, we were here for the Corey Kluber no-hitter because you were actually the last Yankee no-hitter, I believe,
Right.
before Corey Kluber. So last two questions. So if David Cone had one chance in his prime to face any batter in his prime, who is David Cone going to face? And let's just say, I'll give you the scenario. You're going to, outcome of this is that, let's just say you had a complete game on the line. You're going to win the game, but you pick any batter. You're going to be able to have a chance to strike him out. Who will be the batter?
Wow.
All time.
Historically speaking.
Historically speaking.
Wow. You know, there's a couple. It's centered around legends because we never got a chance to see them play. So you got to go back. You know, obviously, you know, the Yankees are full of history. So, you know, for me, it'd be Joe DiMaggio in a big spot. But also in that era, a little bit before, it would be Josh Gibson because we never got a chance to see. And I've heard, you know, from Kansas City and knew Buck O'Neil very well and got a chance to see the museum there. The Hall of Fame there, and so I know about all those characters. I've heard about them. I went to high school with a kid who played in the Negro Leagues. John Wyatt was a pitcher in the Negro Leagues for the Monarchs. So, you know, those legends. I hear so much about Josh Gibson, how good he was, the Babe Ruth, the guy who hit the ball farther than anybody. So he'd be one, definitely be one.
I like that. Last question. So obviously we talked about Shohei Ohtani, but I want you to tell me why and give me, I guess you say, your speech of why Aaron Judge is the MVP of baseball right now.
Oh, because I think he's having arguably not only a top 10 greatest offensive year of all time, but maybe even better than that. Because of the competition and the high velocity of pitchers, he's facing more pitchers than anybody ever in the history of the game. All these relief pitchers throwing high velocity. He doesn't have to, you know, in years past, guys like Joe DiMaggio or Ted Williams, they faced the starting pitcher 3 or 4 times. There's a familiarity with that. Not Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge faces a starting pitcher on average once or twice on most nights. He's done it across the board. He plays center field for the Yankees, so Giancarlo Stanton could play right field, and then DJ LeMahieu could get in the lineup because they had an extra infielder. So he affected the whole roster. And so that's what a true MVP is. You lift your whole team up. And in the second half of the year, the Yankees collectively, their OPS, on base plus slugging, was 650 range. Everybody but Judge. Judge's was 1,300 OPS. So he literally carried this team in the second half when the Yankees were face planting in the month of August. Nobody was hitting. And they were losing night after night. Aaron Judge lifted them up and kept them afloat and saved them, literally saved their season.
Well, I'll say this, thank you for your time, and I want to say this on behalf of every fan. We appreciate you, what you've done for baseball. And I know you probably hear this a lot, but it's growing up in my generation. I got a chance to watch greatness and be able to interview you. This is probably one of my greater moments in baseball.
Nah, my
I appreciate
pleasure,
you.
man.
Thank
My
you so
pleasure.
much.
Nice job.
Thank you.
It's easy.